What is one of the primary lessons you've learned in regards to burnout and what got you to where you are now?
I think the resentment thing is big, and I could go on about that for hours. But something that I learned last year at a conference where when you work for yourself, everybody's like, let's work on your branding. Let's work on your positioning statement. And you do these exercises like 4 times a year because somebody says it and you're like, oh my God, I don't know who I serve or what I do. You do know who you serve and what you do, but you think you don't for a moment. So you go through this exercise. So I'm going through this exercise, but I started with like sort of a jerk space. I was like, I already know this. I already have this, man. And I was like, right, I'm just going to do it anyway because I'm sitting here and I'm at this conference and I'm going to work it through. And so I started saying like, I work with blah, 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 burnout, blah, blah, blah. I kept writing and I was like, oh, something's missing here. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I kept writing and I kept writing. And what it came down for me and the thing that I've been speaking to people about for 20 years, the thing that is sitting underneath all of this, that has its own things that sit underneath it. But the thing that I'm talking to people about all the time is self-neglect.
Ooh, I'm just going to let that sit for a second. That's really what it is, right?
That's really what it is. Why we self-neglect has its own reasons. There are trauma reasons, there are cultural reasons, but self-neglect is really the thing that I'm discussing all the time. All those places in your life where you are removing important pieces of yourself for the assumed benefit of other people. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you say, well, I don't know who I am. Well, no kidding, because you left part A over there and part B over there and part C over there. You've only got XYZ left. Your jigsaw puzzle is missing a lot of pieces, sister.
Wow. And when you said that, it really resonated with me too, because it sent a memory flash of all the self-neglect I've done to myself and how much nourishing myself was first hard, but then B was so needed. I love that you went there. Like I got goosebumps like 3 times.
Well, and this nourishing process is the center of every story of recovery from anything ever.
Oh, man.
I have listened to people's stories of healing for 20 years every week. Well, no, that's not true. I usually take about 8 weeks off a year. So mine is 2 months a year.
I'm going to give it to you, though.
Every single story includes some version of, I took control back. I took myself back. I started heeding the calls from my soul, from my body, from my mind. I started paying attention to myself. I pushed back. I created boundaries. They're all about this same thing. And every story includes it. Every single one.
Wow. You know, what I've learned too is that it's not the superficial stuff.
No.
Like spa day. I mean, that stuff. Hey,
listen, I am not about to tell anybody to not do a spa day.
Yeah. Like I love my spa days.
I love a spa day.
Would you mind like just sharing what you've seen work for self-nourishment? Like I know this topic can go really deep, but
no, you want to know what I do with people?
Yeah, I do.
Everybody get ready to laugh. Pee when you have to pee. Drink when you're thirsty. Find a bathroom when you need to drop a deuce. Eat when you're hungry. Rest when you're tired.
Wow.
Pee when you have to pee. This is the title of a book. It's got to be. Because what we don't understand and what we're missing is we're looking for all of these like magical tools that we can use. But if you have a pattern of self-neglect, you've probably been like, oh, I'm just going to finish these 3 more emails before I go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, your bladder is like punching you in the stomach. Like, are you kidding? And you're like, I got this. I got this. You're squeezing your legs together. You're on your tiptoes, but you're still typing. Go to the bathroom.
I'm laughing because I've totally been that person.
Everybody's been that person. Everyone has. It's funny because everybody's been there. So one of the basic things we need for burnout recovery is a sense of safety. One of the things that teaches our body that we are safe is continuously responding to its messages. When it says, hey, I got to pee, and you say, hey, cool, let's go pee, your body says, oh, I'm being taken care of. Yeah. And you relax. If we don't get down that foundational piece of meeting your body's basic needs throughout the day, standing when you need to stand, getting up, moving, going outside. I understand that sometimes you're going to have to override this because you are a nurse and you're in the middle of a 7-hour surgery. Like you're going to be standing there and you're okay, I get it. And when you have the control, do everything you can.
That's right. It's so powerful because in my own recovery process, I use the word harmony a lot, but the more I got in harmony with my body, like honoring, pee when I have to pee, drink when I need to drink, I felt relief. I still remember after doing it a couple times, the first time my body felt the release, it felt like I lost 10,000 pounds off my shoulders.
Yeah. People are like, here are these vagal nerve exercises for vagal tone. I'm like, why don't you just pee?
But it's true. It's the little things we're doing. And I'm a geek too. And I dive into this stuff and I still participate in a lot of seminars and experiences. And I recently did Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny. He goes into like, what's your primary question? And again, I've been in recovery mode for 6 years. There's always more work to do, right? And I just uncovered that my underlying question was, am I doing enough? Not am I enough?
Am I doing enough?
Am I doing enough? Which would stop me from peeing. And I just thought that was incredible. I was like, oh, shit. It's still there. It's still
There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
But the more work you do with yourself and the more distance you create between it and your attachment to it, the easier it is to just be like, oh, that's the new thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like,
okay.
And like in getting it called out, I was like, all right, like, so now how can I appreciate and relax even more? So I'm like spinning that around. But I just like that the conversation went that way because this episode is going to be playing in early January. And it's just for the listeners, when you hear this, know that you have all of 2023 to nourish yourself. And it's so beautiful. I'm going to ask you another question. Why are you so passionate about this work?
Because it's everywhere and because my lived and observed experience tells me over and over and over again how necessary it is. Plus, I'm a fiery kind of person. And I read something this morning on LinkedIn and I was like, must respond. I have a natural spice that needs to be sprinkled on various meals in the world. I can't get away from that. I'm never going to be not irritated when I see somebody say, we should really only be working towards burnout prevention. We shouldn't let burnout happen in the first place. I think that's really cool. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying we still need burnout treatments for people that are burnt out right now and need help. We should be working towards cancer prevention, but that doesn't mean that people that have cancer, we should just be like, oh, sorry, you missed the prevention train.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
And like, just to throw some stats in there, because again, geek, and I was doing some burnout research over the past couple of weeks. And I was like reviewing 2022, like statistics on how many working professionals there are and what percentage of those are probably in burnout. And it was like 150 million people. So you can't tell me that we're ready. Like, let's just go to prevention. We've got 150 million humans just in the US that need help. Like my mind blew at the magnitude of that because then I also go into like, how many lives are those people touching?
Yeah. Every single life. Now we're now talking about the globe. 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
So 150 million times 6. That's the globe.
This work is so important.
I have no shortage of passion for it because I see it. You can't avoid seeing it.
Yes.
And I also want to acknowledge that I just collected a bunch of people that are doing this work onto like one document. And I have so far like 60 people, which is amazing. And 4 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, it's competition. There's not enough space for me. I don't have a loud enough voice. And now I'm like, oh my God, thank God.
And if you think that that's only 60 people that we can really call out that are like serving burnout. And
focused on burnout.
And the problem's ginormous.
Like we need 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times this many people.
Wow.
And so I was looking at the list and I felt so much gratitude for these people that are willing to dig in right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. One of the things that came up for me when I was doing my research and I'm working on what's next for me, but I'm just taking my notes and writing down whatever's percolating and stuff. And I'm like, wow, this isn't a love problem. Because people think about burnout. And then when they realize they're burnt out, then all the guilt and shame emerges because they're like, oh shit, like I haven't been around or like I've been here and not there. But people are like, oh, maybe I didn't love my kids enough. This isn't a love problem. It's a presence problem. Burnout takes our presence away from ourselves and from the people we love.
Self-neglect takes our presence away. Having our presence taken away causes burnout. I
Yes.
would say
Yeah.
that
No, I would
I
agree.
would say that. So I think one of the tricky things about burnout is that almost every symptom is also a cause or a vulnerability. I don't actually like to use the word burnout causes because I think it's too vast.
Yeah, because it's really the result of, it's not the thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, and
Hmm.
I think almost all of the burnout things are like, if you have really high tension in your neck and shoulders, that can be from burnout, but also having really high tension in your neck and shoulders can lead you towards burnout because it's a sign that there's too much stress in your body. And if you're not dealing with it, it goes on
Correct.
too far. Right. So everything in burnout is like a closed cycle, is cause of and solution to and problem of. And
Chicken egg, chicken egg.
yeah, what is it? The Simpsons, like beer is the cause of and solution to all of the world's problems.
I love that. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons, I mean, I love your personality and all that stuff. I'm like, she's my instant friend. I collect humans and not in a creepy way, but I think I do. I'm like, I love people. I read them on, but I love your passion. I just wanted to close the loop on that. Like, I felt it when I met you. I was like, damn, she is really going for this. She wants to help people. And it just was like really inspiring
Thank you.
for me.
Thank you.
So, what is a key learning that you can share that would empower someone else, since it is the empowered half hour?
If you can admit to your resentments and then look at them as places where you need to implement changes in your life, you will be immeasurably happier within a short time.
Wow.
Burnout is not just about you. Burnout is a cultural issue. It's a trauma issue. There's things that you're doing in your day-to-day life that are affecting the fact that you're burning out, perfectionism and people pleasing. But those things also come from trauma and culture. And while it is your responsibility to deal with it, you didn't cause it. So take that piece of weight off of yourself. If that's the only thing we get out of today, that you just eliminate feeling responsibility for causing it, for causing burnout, then we've accomplished what we need to accomplish. Does it suck that you still have to be the one to do the work to get rid of it? Yeah, it does. And that sucks in every single disease process that has ever happened. So let it go, move on.
Yes. But I absolutely love that because, again, I mentioned it a little bit ago, but as I've worked with people in extreme burnout and I look at my own story, when I first came to terms with it, I almost felt overcome in guilt and shame.